Hi, boys and girls. I am going to start our last chapter book that I'm going to read. Hopefully, you've been able to choose a book to listen to that you liked. Hopefully, more than one of them. Today, I'm going to start the third book in the Magic Treehouse series, and that book is Mummies in the Morning. So again, this is the third book in the series. So we know that Jack and Annie, their first trip, they went to the land of the dinosaurs. And then they went to a castle with a knight. And so this one, they're going to go to a place where there are mummies. Now, that usually is in Africa, and it is in the country of Egypt. I'm not 100% sure if that's exactly where they're going to go, but when people talk about mummies, usually that's where they come from. That's where they are. And mummies really are a real thing. That mummies, that's how they would preserve people when they died. We think of mummies now as something scary, but really, and when we look at this picture, it looks kind of scary, doesn't it? So the story is Mummies in the Morning, and it's written by Mary Pope Osborne. So let's see what happens with Jack and Annie in this part. So, because remember, they got a medallion with an M on the top, and then they also got a bookmark that had an M on it also. And so, Mike, as I'm thinking, I'm wondering, okay, what's going to be the next thing that they're going to find? And so, this chapter is Meow, chapter 1. So, predict what's this going to be about this chapter. All right, so let's find out. Meow. It's still here, said Jack. It looks empty, said Annie. Jack and his 7-year-old sister gazed up at the very tall oak tree. At the top of the tree was a treehouse. Late morning sunlight lit the woods. It was almost time for lunch. Shh, said Jack. What was that noise? What noise? I heard a noise, Jack said. He looked around. It sounded like someone coughing. Okay, and so here it is. Whoops, sorry. Okay. So you can see the treehouse. Remember, that's how they go to where they want to go. All right, so let's see what happens next. I didn't hear anything, said Annie. Come on, let's go up. She grabbed onto the rope ladder and started climbing. Jack tiptoed over to a clump of bushes. He pushed aside a small branch. Hello, he said. Anybody there? There was no answer. Come on, Annie called down. The treehouse looks the same as it did yesterday. Jack still felt that someone was nearby. Could it be the person who'd put all the books in the treehouse? Jack! Jack gazed over the top of the bushes. Was the mysterious person watching him now? The person whose name began with an M? Maybe M wanted the gold medallion back, the one Jack had found on their dinosaur adventure. Maybe M wanted the leather bookmark back, the one from the castle book. There was an M on the medallion and an M on the bookmark. But what did M stand for? Tomorrow I'll bring everything back, Jack said loudly. A breeze swept through the woods. The leaves rattled. Come on, called Annie. Jack went back to the big oak tree. He grabbed onto the rope ladder and climbed up. At the top, he crawled through a hole in the wooden floor. He tossed down his backpack and pushed his glasses into place. Which book is it going to be today? Said Annie. She was looking at the books scattered around the treehouse. Annie picked up the book about castles. Hey, this isn't wet anymore, she said. Let me see. Jack took the book from her. He was amazed. It looked fine. Yesterday it had gotten soaked in a castle moat. Remember, a moat is that it goes around the castle. It was used as protection, and they were worried because they thought maybe crocodiles were in it, and then they fell into it, remember? The castle book had taken Jack and Annie back to the time of knights. Jack silently thanked the mysterious knight who had rescued them. "Watch out," warned Annie. She waved a dinosaur book in Jack's face. "Put that away," said Jack. The day before yesterday, the dinosaur book had taken them to the time of dinosaurs. Jack silently thanked the pterodon who had saved him from a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Annie put the dinosaur book back with the other books. Then she gasped. "Wow," she whispered. "Look at this." She held up a book about ancient Egypt. Jack caught his breath. He took the book from her. A green silk bookmark stuck out of it. Jack turned to the page with the bookmark. There was a picture of a pyramid. A pyramid is like a big structure, and it looks like a triangle on all the sides. Okay. Going toward the pyramid was a long parade. 4 huge cows with horns were pulling a sled. On the sled was a long gold box. Many Egyptians were walking behind the sled. At the end of the parade was a sleek black cat. "Let's go there," whispered Annie. "Now." "Wait," said Jack. He wanted to study the book a bit more. And that makes sense because in all the stories before, I could have predicted that that's what Jack would do because he's done it before. Remember, when we make predictions, we think, what has happened? What do I know? What's text evidence is going to support what I think to make a smart guess? Okay. "Pyramids, Jack," said Annie. "You love pyramids." It was true. Pyramids were high on his list of favorite things. After knights, but before dinosaurs, way before dinosaurs. He didn't have to worry about being eaten by a pyramid. "Okay," he said, "but hold a Pennsylvania book in case we want to come right back here." Annie found the book with a picture of their hometown in it, Frog Creek, Pennsylvania. Then Jack pointed to the pyramid picture in the Egypt book. He cleared his throat and said, "I wish we could go to this place." Meow. What was that? Jack looked out the tree house window. A black cat was perched, that means he's sitting, on a branch right outside the window. The cat was staring at Jack and Annie. So here's a picture of that cat. It's a pretty big cat, I feel like. And you can look in the background, okay, right here is the pyramid. Okay, it comes to a point at the top. It was the strangest cat Jack had ever seen. He was very sleek and dark, with bright yellow eyes and a wide gold collar. That means around his neck. "It's the cat in the Egypt book," whispered Annie. Just then, the wind started to blow, so stop. All right. Based on what we've read before and what you know, when the wind starts to blow, what happens? So they start to move, don't they? The leaves began to shake. "Here we go," cried Annie. The wind whistled louder. The leaves shook harder. Jack closed his eyes as the treehouse started to spin. It spun faster and faster and faster. Suddenly, everything was still. Absolutely still. Every time she says that, doesn't she? Not a sound, not a whisper. Jack opened his eyes. Hot, bright sunlight nearly blinded him. Meow. I want you to know in Egypt, it's very hot. We've talked before about that equator that's in the middle of our Earth. It's just a pretend line, but it's in the middle. And the closer you are to the equator, the hotter it is. And Egypt is like right on the equator. So it's very, very hot there. So we'll find out what happens next in this story. So, good time to predict. What do you think is going to happen? Because if I look at the cover, all right, do you think they're going to find a mummy? What does the cat have to do with anything? What do you think the cat will do? So again, predicting. It's okay if my predictions are not right, but you want to make good, smart predictions as you read. All right, we'll read and find out later.